Hi everyone, Alan from Newlands Nursery. Hope you are well. Today we are planting up these plug plants or starter plants. So let's have a quick look at them. I've just randomly picked a couple. We've got a Fuchsia here and we've got a Bidens. So before we get into planting them up, this is how a huge amount of plants are delivered. And they look like this, a nice well-rooted plug plant, or like I say, starter plant, depending on your preference. Something we get asked all the time is round the outside, they've got this cover or sleeve, whatever you want to call it. Now with all of ours, that is paper. So that will just degrade in the compost with no issue at all. There's no need to actually peel it off or take it off, which I know a lot of people ask that question. And in fact, in doing so, you may damage some of the nice, good root growth. So definitely leave that on without a doubt. So this time of year, like I said, early spring, a lot of people will get deliveries of plants like this. It's a great way to get plants for your garden. A nice established plant, and they grow relatively quickly. But the first thing to do is when you unpack them, check if they need a little bit of watering. They may have been in the postal system for a little while, so give them a good water. And then it's a case of potting them up. With pretty much no exceptions, the plants from us, the ideal size to pot them into is something like a 9 centimetre, which is that sort of size. You can go a little bit bigger. I wouldn't go too much smaller. You can go a little bit bigger, but certainly don't go as big as something like this for one plant. The reason being is it's harder to control the watering. And if you're doing it earlier in the spring and it's a tender plant, these two are good examples of that, then you want to keep them inside, either conservatory or on the windowsill. You don't want to put them outside. And not many of us have got windowsills that would take too many of these. So what we do is we're going to fill this pot with some multi-purpose compost. So I scoop it in, just place the multi-purpose compost in there. It's a nice well-drained compost. You can see some bark in there. That's going to help with the drainage. So I'll tap it down. This gets rid of any air gaps. What you'll often find is if you get too many air gaps in the compost, as soon as you water it, it will just sink away to nothing. So I'm just going to slightly top that up and smooth it over, just like that. Then, if we go with the Bidens first, we're going to pot them both in the same way. We make a hole in the compost that is about the same, slightly bigger than the actual root ball itself, and then just pop it in. Don't want to push it down, don't want to compact it, we just want to tuck it in just like that. And we want the top of the compost to be the same as it was when in the plug. So it wants to sit at that level, which is exactly what we're looking for. And then we just repeat the process with the Fuchsia. Some of the plants we sell, like I said, are tender, others are hardy. For the hardier plants, depending on the time of year, they may be able to go straight outside. You can always ask us that question, but generally speaking, potting them up from a plug plant or starter plant is the best thing to do, almost regardless. Often it's best not to go straight into the garden with a plant like this. So make a hole and just place it in there and tuck it in. And it's so much is depending on what plant you're planting, how long it's going to be in this pot. But if you're doing things like hanging baskets, containers, you'll find they'll establish a lot quicker if we get them established in this pot first and then into the basket or container. And it'll be the same for going in the ground. The downside with planting outside is you're in no control at all over the weather. If it suddenly gets cold or it's windy and rainy and horrible, you've got no control over that. So potting into something like this that you can look after on a windowsill in a conservatory or somewhere like that often does help. If you've got any questions at all, obviously get in contact. We're here to help. See you soon.